My name is Bryce Cooper. I'm an 18-year-old currently attending college, and for the past month, I've been spending my weekends at Cindy's house. Cindy is the girl I found who agreed to tutor me, as long as I let her practice her fashion and makeup skills on me. Today I woke up early to go over to her house. I caught the first bus, rode it across town to her house, knocked on the door, greeted her while she was still half asleep, and then set up my stuff on the kitchen table while she worked on waking up. Once she was awake and dressed, she'd bring out all the stuff she'd be working on, which were several different products, from makeup to try out on my face, to different hairsprays and stuff she'd be trying on my hair. Of course, before we do anything, Cindy insists on dyeing my hair pink with that temporary hair dye she has. I asked her why she was doing that every time, and she said seeing my hair cute and feminine helps her visualize her work. So I usually have to wear a hat for the first few days after we do this because it takes a few days and some decent scrubbing to get it out. Cindy does complain that wearing hats all the time is bad for my hair, and I'll admit I sort of miss it once it's gone by the end of the week. Once I've done enough of my work for the day, I get to take a break, which meant it was time for Cindy to get to work. She'd then have me sit back, and then she'd pull all my hair back to keep it out of my face while she works on testing out the new products or styles she was trying. She's actually really good at it, and no matter what she's trying out or how unsure she is with the style she's trying, she always manages to make a guy like me look like an adorable, cute girl. It was truly impressive, and I'd mentioned that to her a few times. I was trying to be nice, but she was so happy to hear it and thought I was interested in how she did it, so now sometimes if I finish my work early, she shows me how to do makeup on my own. Not that I need to know. I just do it because it seems to make her happy. After we both finished up for the day, Cindy grabs my hands and drags me upstairs, where she'll start going through her closet looking for clothes, or even through bags of clothes she bought from thrift stores that week. She needed to take a picture of me in a new outfit each time. That way she could send a picture to her teacher to prove that she's doing her work. It's still embarrassing to have a photo taken of me while I look like this, but Cindy tells me that since I've been helping her, she's risen to the top of her class. I'm glad I could help her. I'm glad she's able to help me. I may not be the top of my classes, but thanks to her, I'm no longer at the bottom, and I only need to pass a few more tests before I know I'm no longer failing. That would mean I'd no longer need her tutoring, but she's been helping me out so much and she's really motivated me. So perhaps I'll keep this up longer, just to keep doing better in my classes. Not to keep cross-dressing, of course. I mean, I'm not a girl. Today's particular outfit was a step above the ones I'd been wearing. Up until now, they'd been simple black dresses with maybe a pair of shoes or something. And that was it, nothing else added in, but today had some extra stuff. The outfit she picked out for me today was a short pink dress with straps, a pair of pink below the knee boots, and a pair of white panties, with a pair of white ankle socks. I started mumbling awkwardly as I held the underwear. She noticed and asked me what was wrong. I did my best to tell her, but all I managed to do was hold them up and continue mumbling. She didn't say anything, but she did squint her eyes and give me a look that told me she thought I was being ridiculous. I wanted to crush the underwear into a ball and toss it at her, proclaim loudly that I was a man, after all I am, but honestly, they were so soft and I found myself a bit curious about what they felt like. So I didn't fight her on putting them on, I just asked her to leave so I could do it alone. She did, standing on the other side of her bedroom door while I removed my male clothes and worked on putting my female ones on. I started with the underwear, slipping them up my legs and letting them rest on my hips. It's so strange, wearing a different type of underwear, yet it fit perfectly and held everything in place down there, and it was really soft. As I looked at them, I suddenly had a realization. Cindy was bigger than me, which is embarrassing since she's a girl, but it's true. So if she was bigger than me, how was it possible she had underwear in my size? There was only one thing that made sense. She either knew my size or guessed it and then bought it just for me to wear. They were basically mine, which was super humiliating. Trying not to think about that, I quickly slip on everything else and call to her, letting her know I had finished. She opened the door and looked at me before stepping in. I watched as a huge smile appeared on her face, and then as she ran right up to me and hugged me. She told me I looked so cute and pretty that I was just like a wonderful little sister. My face turned red and I pouted a bit, reminding her that I was a boy, but honestly, the way she was complimenting me and the way she hugged me all felt wonderful. After she checked me out, she grabbed my hand and brought me to her living room, where she had me sit down on the couch and pose while she took photos for her class. Normally it's just one or two, but I'm fairly certain today she took several more, including a video. I used to be so worried about doing this, but it's been a month and no one's found out, which means her teacher hasn't shared it with anyone. Although, with how good Cindy is, I doubt anybody would even know the pink-haired girl was me. With the photos done, we had finished for the day, so I packed up my school stuff while Cindy prepared to help me get the makeup off. Things were going how they normally went when I was here, but then something changed. Cindy's parents came home early. Both of her dads walked through the front door, and Cindy began to panic. She turned to me and whispered that she wasn't allowed to have boys over. I thought that was a tad ridiculous at our age, but it was their house, so if it was one of their rules, she had to follow it. Cindy then told me if they found out, I wouldn't be allowed to come back here again, and she'd be in big trouble. Then asked me to pretend to be a girl while she runs upstairs and hides my male clothes so they don't find them and get suspicious. That left me alone with her dads, who seemed really surprised to see me, or perhaps they were surprised to see Cindy hanging out with someone. Either way, they had questions, and I had to sit there and answer them. I'll admit, I was nervous, well, actually super nervous, and had a hard time answering the questions, but as soon as Cindy got back, she explained I was quite shy and started helping me answer the questions. In the end, we pretty much told them the truth. I was here studying for my classes with Cindy's help, and she was here practicing for hers using me. We had all lost track of time while talking, and because of that, I ended up missing all the buses that could take me home. Hearing that I couldn't get home, and that they were the reason I was still here, her dads insisted I stay the night and have a sleepover, which Cindy loved the idea of. I had little choice in the matter, so I agreed. However, not only had I been cross-dressing all day, but now I'll be doing it all night. Her parents went off to clean themselves and make dinner, while Cindy and I went up to her bedroom. As soon as the door was closed, Cindy began apologizing to me over and over again. She knew I didn't want people to see me like this, and she had no idea they'd be home early. I sighed and told her it was fine. Her parents were super nice, and honestly, I don't think I have anything to worry about if they found out I was a boy cross-dressing. Sure, they might kick me out to protect their daughter, but I doubt they'd tell anybody. I also mentioned that I liked hanging out with her. She's fun and energetic, and every time I'm with her, I feel a bit better. I then sort of blurted out that I thought of her as a good friend at this point, which made her hug me and start crying. I thought I had done something wrong, but then I remembered the rumors about her and how she likely didn't have many friends, if any at all. I could have been her first friend, but honestly, with how amazing she is, that can't be true. And if it is, perhaps I can change that. The rest of the night was pretty interesting. We had to pretend we were having a girls' sleepover, so we did our hair again, this time with me getting to do Cindy's. We talked about boys she thought were cute and even a non binary person in her class that she said was the cutest. We had a pillow fight, which I lost, and finally we went to bed when her parents asked us to. When I woke up, I found her sitting on the bed looking panicked. I asked her what was wrong, and she mentioned her dad having the day off, so he was sitting downstairs. I asked her why that was such a problem, and she told me because her dad thought I was a girl, so if I wanted to leave, I had to do so wearing the clothes from yesterday. My face started to heat up, and I nearly passed out. I then told her there was no way I was leaving here dressed like that. She reminded me what would happen if they found out I was a boy, and how I still had ways to go in order to not fail this year. It left me with a choice. What was worse, failing and retaking my classes next year, or 15 minutes in public dressed as a girl? My masculine pride cracked as I packed my male clothes into my bag and headed downstairs dressed as a girl. I said goodbye to her dad, thanking him for dinner and letting me stay, and then I leave Cindy's house wearing nothing but a dress and boots. My heart pounded the whole time, and I thought it may stop at some point, especially when I got onto the bus and locked eyes with the bus driver. Sure, he recognized me, but he didn't say anything. Not long later, I got off my bus and walked home, looking out for anyone I may know. Luckily, my grandparents moved out after I started college and are traveling the world, so I don't have to worry about anybody walking in on me like Cindy does. After getting inside, I slammed the door and rested my back against it, catching my breath. Once the embarrassment and anxiety were gone, I went up to my bedroom to get change, but I stopped when I saw myself in the mirror. For some reason, I loved how I looked. Perhaps one day I could date a girl as cute as me. I then took a few pictures of myself, not that I'd ever admit it to anybody or show them. After I was done, I got a text from Cindy asking me if I was okay. I replied I was, and that I don't think anybody noticed me. She apologized again and even told me to keep the clothes I had on, like that was some sort of reward. I'm a guy, what am I going to do with the cute dress and matching boots? Cindy then also mentioned that they were useless to her anyways, since she bought them in my size. So I turned out to be right about that. The underwear, dress, and boots were all basically mine from the start, and now I'm a guy who owns a dress, cute boots, and female underwear, which is just humiliating. We chatted for a bit longer before she asked me if our agreement was still in place. I look up and think about it for a minute. I still need tutoring and she still needed to practice, so it made sense to continue. So I told her yes, but mentioned that we could do it at my place from now on. She loved that idea and told me that since her dads have met me, they wouldn't even be worried about her coming to my house or even staying the night. That was good, and overall, some good came out of this. I no longer have to travel to her house every weekend, and these clothes aren't bad, I guess. Hello there. Did you like the video? If you did, leave a like or even a comment. Comments are great, and I love chatting with you. Anyway, Check out my Patreon and DeviantArt pages if you haven't already. Both support my work, and it would mean a lot to me if you check them out. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening, and I hope you all have the best day ever.